Sports Talker Nation. Welcome back once again. It is I, your host, the G-Man, as we continue our 2016 MLB preview, and we're going to continue talking about the NL Central today. Today, we're going to talk specifically about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I have a lot of friends that are Pirates fans. Some of them may be listening in right now, so a big shout out to those guys. And I have to admit that I have a soft spot in my heart for the Pirates. I like the way they do things. I like their organization. They were a laughing stock for a lot of years, but now you just assume that they're going to be in the hunt, and I don't think this year is any different. I think they have the talent, even in probably the best division in baseball, to remain in contention and maybe even overtake it. I know everyone's going to be all over the Cubs. I myself am a big Cubs believer this year, but I think the Pirates are not far behind, and I think with some of the challenges the Cardinals are having, the Pirates might be able to step up. So let's see what the Pirates have going on. Batting leadoff, I imagine they're going to have Polanco. He hasn't lived up to his hype just yet, but if you look at his numbers, he's going to get there. He's a very good defensive outfielder to start with. He plays right field with a good arm, but he has always been a 300 hitter in the minor leagues. He hasn't approached that yet. He's hit for about the same amount of power, 10 to 15 home runs. He runs well. He's going to steal you some bases, going to play good defense. He has to become a bit more selective to stay at the top of the lineup, but I think he's got a chance to do just that. Josh Harrison is the everyman that people should just absolutely love. He's too small. He never had the opportunity. He was always looked at as nothing more than a utility player. When he got a chance to play full-time at bats, he hit over 300. Last year, people thought it was going to be a fluke, and granted, he was hurt a little bit of the year, but when he did play, he hit 290. He's going to steal you some bases. He's not going to hit for a lot of power, but he is selective, and he's good for a lineup. He's great batting second. He's going to hit behind the runner. He can run as well. I imagine he's going to be almost your everyday second or third baseman, depending upon what happens with Young Ho Kang. Batting third is the Kutch, Captain Kutch. Hard not to love this guy. He's not a big guy, but he generates tremendous bat speed and power. He's an excellent hitter for average. Again, not overly selective, strikes out a lot, but in today's Major League Baseball, everybody strikes out a lot. And on top, in striking out a lot, he doesn't sacrifice his batting average. He's still a 300 hitter. He doesn't run as much as he used to. He's not going to steal you a lot of bases for you fantasy leaguers. He's not going to steal as many as you might think. But at the same time, he still runs very well, and he plays a great defensive center field. So I think he'll be just fine. Batting fourth, I imagine they're going to have Starling Marte bat fourth. Not your traditional number 4 hitter, but it's not your traditional lineup. I think what they're going to do is they're going to try to run a little bit more. Marte is going to be good for 15 to 20 home runs. He's just not your traditional big banger in that 4 spot. He's got to become a little more selective as well, but that's a theme you're going to hear throughout. I think he's going to do just fine. Young Ho Kang last year coming over from the Korean Baseball League, people didn't know what to make of him, what he'd be able to do. Korean baseball is obviously much different than American baseball, but he was a masher in Korea. 40 home runs, 350 average. Well, he didn't duplicate the home runs, but when he started to get full-time at bats, he was almost a 290 hitter with 15 home runs. He had a devastating knee injury, a terrible knee injury, but all accounts are that he's coming back very quickly from it, may even be ready for opening day. If that's the case, you have to assume he's going to be your everyday third baseman. I think he can get up to that 20 home run level. I don't think he's going to sacrifice average to do it, and he's an all-around good guy, good player for this team, and he is very selective, which is usually true of Korean and Japanese league players, so I think he's going to do just fine. Mike Morse, your guess is as good as mine. If it's Mike Morse or Josh Bell or one of their prospects to wind up playing first base, Jason Jaso, I guess, can play some first base as well, backup catcher. Morse has power out the wazoo. I think he can hit home runs in any stadium, but at the same time, I just don't think he has the... I don't think he's going to hit for a high enough average to justify his spot in the lineup. If he hits 250, he'll hit 20 home runs. Defensively, he's a terrible defensive first baseman, but he can't be worse than Pedro Alvarez, who played first base last year, so I think they'll just kind of live with it. Rotate in Jaso. Maybe even Matt Joyce gets a little bit of time, but I think Morse is going to be your main guy. Francisco Cervelli at catcher is batting 7th. I always appreciated his game. I like a guy who's a good average hitter. He plays hard. I think he's a decent defensive player. He's not going to light the world on fire for anybody, but he's going to probably hit 280. If he can get up to that 10 home run level, that's a real good 7 hitter at catcher who can manage a ball game well. So I like Cervelli. I like what he brings to the table. Batting 8th, you're going to have Jordy Mercer. Have to admit, not a Jordy Mercer fan. He had one year where he hit about 280. The rest of the time, he's really struggled to be a 250 hitter. I don't think he's a 250 hitter. I think if they can find a decent replacement to play the middle infield, Mercer may go to the bench. They can either have Gung or even Harrison play short. I would imagine Gung's a better long-term shortstop. But for the time being, let's say it's Mercer. On the bench, you've heard me mention a couple of names. I think their bench is actually pretty strong. John Jaso, backup catcher, backup outfielder, backup first baseman, known good pinch hitter, real good on base percentage guy, excellent guy to have on your bench. Matt Joyce, he provides you a little bit of power off the bench. And they even have a guy like Pedro Florman. I don't know if he'll make their opening roster, but he's a middle infielder with speed. He's a good fallback utility infielder. Every team needs to have one of those. He's that guy. Their rotation is better than people think, and certainly the top of it is as good as it gets. Garrett Cole finally came into what everyone expected him to be, came into his own, and lit it up last year. 18 wins, low threes, I'm talking 3.1 ERA, struck out a ton of guys, workhorse innings. I think he's the same thing. Francisco Liriano, I've always loved. People don't love him as much as I do. He does have some control issues from time to time, but he has had many good years in a row now for the Pirates. It can't be considered a fluke. So I think he's a real solid number 2. John Neese, he will benefit from playing in that ballpark. He got kind of run out of town in New York because they had so many young studs. It's not for anything he didn't do well. I think he's a solid number 3. Jeff Locke and Ryan Vogelsong are your 4 and 5. I like Locke more than most. I don't like Vogelsong at all. I'll tell you that they may have like a Tyler Glasnow may wind up filling in for Vogelsong long term and taking up his 5 spot in the rotation. But I think those top 4 can win a lot of games. In their bullpen's excellent. Mark Melancon, what a huge find he has been. I mean, a guy who has failed a couple different places. Only reason he got a chance was because of Jason Grilli injury, and he has just run away with it. Doesn't wow you with stuff. He's not going to throw 98 miles an hour, but he induces ground balls, throws a nasty slider, and he was as good as it gets last year as a closer. They have Troy Watson, who, again, left-handed, unhittable for left-handed batters. So if you have that situational guy, I think bullpens are usually so fluky. You have a situational guy, you have some guys that have the chance to step in. Young guys can come in and do the job for the 7th and 8th inning, and their starting rotation is going to go deeper in games than others. What does that all add up to? Well, again, I am a noted Pirates fan, but let's say that it adds up to 88 wins, second place, and fighting for that wild card. And it wouldn't shock me if the Cubs do have a little downturn, the Pirates wind up maintaining that division. So that's it for me, your 2016 MLB preview on the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.